What I would love to find in my life is a balance where I kind of eat healthy and then don't have to work quite as hard.
I'm a famous movie star. Of course I say I can eat whatever I want. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I have better genetics than you. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I'm not going to tell you my actual size. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going over Alan Richardson's diet plan, what he eats, drinks, and I'm doing so by watching Men's Health. They're literally going into his house, into his fridge. And we're going to see, how does he actually eat? And in the video, spoiler alert, he says, you can't do this natural. He put on 30 pounds. He's no longer an Addy. And as if I had to say that, if anyone looked at this physique and thought he did it natural, looking back at his days as Aquaman from Smallville and so on, then you're just an idiot. People, you don't put on this much muscle this late in life when you've been training natural.
We've been searching for you for days.
Men's Health.
I mean, look at the size of this guy. You guys actually think there's even a chance he was natural? What's next? You believe Michael Hearn's natural? The Rock's natural? What is wrong with you? I mean, he's walking around, he's got imaginary lat syndrome, he's jacked full as a house. This is not a guy on HRT. This guy looks to be on everything.
Oh, not bad. I think my wife did some cleaning. This is because it doesn't usually look like this.
You guys, does anyone believe that you can have a Men's Health scheduled appointment and that you're not going to even tidy up the fridge at all? Do you really think this is actually what's in his fridge? Think of it. Pretend right now that some famous TV show is going to come to your house and is going to go and see what your house looks like. Are you going to not clean up? Are you not going to tidy things out? And so I'm pretty sure that whatever you see in his fridge is pre-planned. It's what he wants you to see. Does anyone believe that? Oh, wow, it looks so good. My wife must have done some cleaning. I thought I would be full of junk food. Of course he looked in the fridge before they knocked on his door. This would have been pre-planned. It wasn't just randomly knock, 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 show up. Oh, wow, Men's Health, you're here? Oh, let me put my clothes back on. I was in the middle of having sexy time. Of course not.
There's no pizza leftovers in here, so my wife must have known you guys were coming and cleaned out the pizza because there's always pizza in the fridge.
And so the first thing I heard is there's always pizza in the fridge. So clearly he doesn't eat healthy. If you have pizza, pizza's not actually healthy. If it's always in the fridge, it means you're eating it probably almost every day. And so looking at this guy, he clearly eats a lot.
There's none of the good stuff is in here right now. You know, this almost looks healthy.
Looking at his fridge, it's probably healthier than 99% of the population. For some reason, I don't think people know what's healthy or not. The definition of healthy is very arbitrary. Depending on who you ask, if you have fruit and vegetables in the fridge, well, that is not any good because, well, there's fructose in fruit. Heavens forbid. If you have Eddie Abou, if you have any kind of protein items in there, well, that's horrible. Carnivore diets, if you have an apple, well, that is bad. And so healthy, very arbitrary. But as I'm looking at his fridge, it's absolutely healthy.
Only 30 grams of protein in these. The weak sauce, I'll show you some better ones later.
And so clearly he has the RDT drinks, he's got protein drinks. And so Eddie Abou is going to say his diet's horrible. He's going to have an early death, probably going to have a brain aneurysm because he's drinking protein milk.
We always have eggs. I've always got a lot of eggs.
Next up, he's got lots of eggs. And so Eddie Abou, he's loving this now. But the problem is he sees the RDT protein drinks. He's saying, oh, you had eggs, but you ruined it by drinking a protein drink. Here's what I think. The eggs are good. The drinks are good. It's all good. And so whose diet advice makes more sense? I believe this diet is very healthy. And even with pizza, it's healthy. Everything in moderation. Or do you think it has to be like Eddie Abou? If you have anything other than meats and perhaps some vegetables and maybe berries, well, that's bad.
Don't look at the no-baked cookie dough from a local bakery.
And so no-bake cookie dough, clearly it's a treat. There's going to be some added sugars in there. It's not the healthiest of foods, but of course in moderation. He says, I don't go through that all the time. He eats it sparingly.
We do have a lot of cut fruit.
Amazing. He's got healthy snacks readily available. 3 boys in the house. He's got fruits. That is what you want. You're proactive with your health. If you don't have readily accessible snacks, you're going to eat the quickest junk that you can find. That is a mistake. And so by having those healthy, readily available snacks for when you're hungry, you're going to make far fewer regretful decisions than last time. Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. And so if you don't have healthy food in the house, snacks and so on, you're asking for trouble. You're going to dial Uber, whatever that means, and then they're going to show up with food, pizza, and you're going to eat way too much of it. Please have snacks always available.
From what I've been told, you can't have too much fruit.
And so what he's been told, you can't have too much fruit. And really, I think he's correct. For most people, you could eat as much fruit as you want. Chances are you're not going to be in a calorie surplus. Yeah, there's some sugar in it. And no, it's not going to hurt you. For some people, sure it will. Too much of anything is going to hurt anyone. Too much water is not good for you. Too much exercise isn't good for you. Even perhaps watching too many Coach Greg videos is not good for you. Well, no, strike that. There's no such thing as watching too much Coach Greg.
Don't mind the cheese dogs. Once again, I have 3 boys, so I can blame the kids on the cheese dogs, but I do love hot dogs.
And so next up, the cheese dogs. These are for the kids, though. Don't blame it. I'm not eating that. This is my opinion on that. Just because you have kids doesn't mean you have an excuse to have bullshit in your house. You are an example. You are the role models. Just because your kids want to eat shit doesn't mean you give it to them. Would you say the same thing about beer and cigarettes? Would you let their kids have that if they wanted it? And so how is it any different with junk? Try to set an example. Be a role model. Do your exercise, do your cardio, have healthy food. And am I saying you can't ever have cheese dogs? No. But don't just fill up your fridge, your cupboards with junk food because that's what your kids want. You are their parents. You tell them what to do. They're living in your house.
People are going to eat like after they see this because I eat whatever the hell I want, and I'm not kidding.
And listen, Alan Richardson is saying, look, I eat whatever I want. I'm eating every hour. The guy's not fat. He's lucky. He's also on performance-enhancing drugs, and so he can get away with it. And so don't just copy his diet. He has amazing genetics, far better than the average person.
Don't be too hot. 27 seconds, 2 packs. That's my breakfast.
And so meal 1 is 2 packets of sugar-filled oatmeal, and that's it. This is not a healthy breakfast. 2 packs of sugar-filled oatmeal for breakfast with no protein. I mean, I'm sure Alan Richardson knows you need to eat protein to build muscle. There's not enough protein in 2 packs of oatmeal. Don't know why he's doing this, but hey, he's on steroids. He gets away with it. Perhaps he's eating protein later in the day. But if he wanted to really optimize his muscle growth, I certainly think that you and everyone else would agree that he should be eating protein for breakfast.
You take some cheese, some turkey, 1 little stripe of mustard. The cheese is the bread.
Doesn't it amaze you that multi-millionaires, like really famous guys making tons of money, that they eat this plainly? He literally slaps out some bread, puts on some deli meat, some cheese, some mayonnaise, and just that's it. He can't have his meals pre-made for him. He can't have a chef come in 1 day a week and pre-prep everything to have all these healthy meals. He's literally just slapping on some bread, some cheese, and some ham. I don't get it.
You got your meat and cheese taco. I could eat 50 of these.
Well, I'd love to see it. I'm sure he's exaggerating. I doubt he could eat 50 of these, but that is meal 2.
Homemade turkey meatloaf. Very lean, tons of protein. Sometimes we'll have some mashed potatoes in it if I need a little carbs.
And so here it is, meal 3. Now we're talking. The wife's got some homemade meatloaf, very low fat. And so perhaps he's got to get the wife cooking more meals than last time. Perhaps she doesn't have the time. Perhaps he could hire someone to make him a healthier breakfast. Maybe he could get Eddie Abu over to cook him up some boiled eggs or something. And so my advice would be to up the protein in meal 1. Everything else, it's not that bad.
When I'm on set, it's super easy to maintain what I eat. In fact, I eat the healthiest when I'm on set because I have somebody cooking for me.
So notice when he's on set, he eats the healthiest because he has somebody cooking for him. Notice also, he's a multimillionaire. He could afford to hire a chef. If it was important or enough for him, he would hire a chef or have someone at least make some healthy meals for him. Think of it, when he's on set, it's easy for him. There's a chef making him this food. This could continue on into the off season. And so why not just be healthy year round?
Reacher's got to be big so I can bulk. I call it bulking constantly, so I just eat whatever I want.
And so let me address this. He says for Reacher, he has to be big. And so he goes on a bulk. But remember, when you close your eyes and picture someone bulking, you picture them eating a lot of food and getting fatter and being in a very high calorie surplus. Did you see his bulk? He's shredded. And so what is he really doing? I'm calling it main gaining. He's not going up in body fat. He's going up in muscle. All he's really doing is increasing his calories and taking performance-enhancing drugs. And he admits it. I'm not making this shit up. He admits it. And so the reason his body weight is going up is because he's eating more calories and using steroids.
The other half of the year, I can't be so big, usually, and limit the carbs.
And so let me explain exactly what Alan Richardson is doing. When he's training for Reacher, he's eating in a calorie surplus. He's taking steroids. That causes nutrient partitioning to occur. What that means is the extra calories are all turning to muscle. And so in reality, he's not bulking, he's main gaining. And why is that? Because his body fat is not going up. If we saw saw him get fat and bulky in the off season, I'd say, yeah, he's going on a bulk. But his body fat percentage is almost the same year round. And so when he's not playing the role of reacher, they want him smaller because he's way too jacked for the average person. He's a monster of a man. And so after the Jack Reacher movie's over, he most likely goes off of those steroids. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, you're going to gain weight.
What would we never see in your fridge?
Anything vegan?
And so what will he never see in his fridge? Anything vegan. Newsflash, every single vegetable is vegan and every single fruit is vegan. And so there's nothing wrong with being vegan. Now, if you say, I won't go vegan because I love meat, nothing wrong with that. And trust me, there are vegan recipes, for example, desserts and so on, that you would bite into it and there's no way you would think it's vegan. Trust me, I've made them. I actually have a vegan and vegetarian cookbook. And so if you are in fact vegan or vegetarian, did you know I made a cookbook for you too?
Snacks are kind of the hardest thing for me. So I do like a lot of cottage cheese. I do a lot of yogurt. I also do a lot of string cheese.
And so he says snacks are the hardest thing for him. Everyone loves a snack. He does cottage cheese, he does yogurt, and he does regular string cheese. Now, here's my advice. Use low-fat variations of that. For example, cottage cheese, you can get 0% fat cottage cheese. And for yogurt, try Greek yogurt. Try to make it 0% fat. It's going to be very high in protein. Way more protein in Greek yogurt than in regular yogurt. And for string cheese, just use low-fat cheese. Take out some of the fat, the protein remains, and so what you're going to have is lower calorie snacks that make it easier to stay on your diet than last time. Also, what I would recommend is to have in some fruit and or vegetables into your snacks. If you're eating strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, apples, pineapple, you name it, these snacks are going to make you more satiated and less likely to cheat, binge splurge on things like chocolate bars, chips, or other high-calorie dense.
My coffee is a 5-hour energy.
And so he doesn't drink coffee, but he has those energy drinks with caffeine, of course. He says he takes that in the morning. Not a good idea. What the research says, as Andrew Huberman would point out, wait 90 minutes to 2 hours before consuming caffeine. By doing this, you won't have that crash early in the afternoon. You have to allow your body to wake up naturally on its own. Get up, get outside, go to the window, get in some sunlight, allow your cortisol levels to rise, become more normal than last time. And so what do I do with caffeine? I leverage it before my workout.
Keto. I ate all of it. Where does it go? I don't know where it goes.
I'll tell you where it's going. It's going in the biceps, the traps, the quads, and that's from nutrient partitioning from the steroids. Those calories, they're turning into muscle because he's on steroids.
What's Reacher's favorite thing to cook?
Reacher, to Reacher, a calorie is a calorie.
And so Reacher says a calorie is a calorie, doesn't matter if it's from protein, fat, carbs, whatever. And that is actually true. If you're in a calorie deficit, you're losing weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, you're gaining weight. And if you're at maintenance, you're keeping your weight there. Doesn't mean that calories don't differ. For example, if you eat protein, you're going to burn off more calories trying to break that protein down to turn it fat than if you break down fat and turn it to fat. And so, of course, the calorie out equation is going to be affected by what you're eating.
Sometimes I'll do a banana, but usually I go fruitless. I try to limit the sugar.
And so isn't it entertaining? I try to avoid the sugar, so I don't put in bananas, fruits, and blueberries into my shake, but I'll add in peanut butter and avocado.
I do peanut butter, cacao for a little depth of flavor, and avocado.
Peanut butter. I don't add in the fruit because of the sugar, but I add in peanut butter. What is so bad about fruit? Are you a fan of Eddie Abu? Because guess what? If you were, you wouldn't be having whey protein. So it can't be that. And so what exactly is your problem with fruit? You said Jack Reacher, he eats everything. That carbs, fats, protein, it doesn't matter. The Rock knows it doesn't matter. And so why do you think it matters? Trust me, adding in some handful of frozen strawberries to that protein shake is going to make it taste better than last time. In comparison to adding several tablespoons of peanut butter to make it taste better, a lot more calories. And so if you're trying to stay lean for those rolls, I know you like your abs, I know you need to stay lean and in shape for these rolls, why not have better protein shakes than last time? And to do that, you know where to get it. Cookbook 3.0.
Take any supplements?
And so let's get the elephant out of the room. Do you take any supplements? And so let's go through his list of every single supplement he takes. I'm sure he's going to divulge everything, right?
These are trace mineral drops, so these are all natural minerals and performance electrolyte.
Minerals and electrolytes, and he swears this is what's saving him. Couldn't be the steroids. No, it's not that. It's the electrolytes and minerals. He's not even taking GO2 max. Imagine not taking GO2 max when you need to do cardio, when you need to be in shape. He's spoken in the past about how hard it is being a bigger man than he once was, having all that muscle, having to do cardio. And so how could you not take GO2 max? Not even banned by WADA. It's not even a performance-enhancing drug, despite the fact that it gives performance-enhancing effects. Remember, if you're interested in this, code Greg, 15% off. click the link in the description.
Because when I'm working out 5 days a week, using heavy weights all the time, your body never has a chance to recover. You're never 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure those minerals and electrolytes are doing everything to recover. No way could any other supplement be helping. Imagine if you had Ecti Builder, Turk Builder, GO2 Max. Imagine if you had all these natural supplements. Imagine how much better you'd be. Imagine how much he could reduce the dosage of his performance-enhancing drugs.
The other day, I did some push-ups, and during the push-ups, I started to cramp up. I came up and I took these. I waited 15 minutes. Cramps were gone. Finished the workout. So.
And clearly, it was from taking those things, not from resting for 15 minutes. It's from the minerals. I was getting cramps while doing push-ups, and then I stopped for 15 minutes, and during that time, I took a little drink of some minerals, and that's what cured it. It was the drinking of the minerals. It wasn't the 15 minutes. And so you know what? I did this bike race the other day, and I raced for an hour, and at the end of the race, I took a sip of water. I was so exhausted, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't catch my breath. I took a sip of water, and 15 minutes later, I wasn't even breathing hard anymore. The water cured me. Had nothing to do with the 15-minute break. It had everything to do with the sip of water. And so I'm telling you, water isn't snake oil. It cures everything.
This is it, but this is all I'll include.
Did he just say, this is it, this is all that I'll include? He must know with certainty that we know he's on performance-enhancing drugs. He's admitted it in the past. And so when he says he's just taking these electrolytes and minerals, is it a joke? Is the cameraman and him joking backstage? We'll say this and post it, and perhaps Coach Greg will make a video about it. There's no way he can try to convince us that that's all he's taking.
What do you grab from the fridge when you're hungry at 2 a.m.?
Here's what I'm going for in the fridge. A nice homemade key lime pie.
At 2 a.m., you don't go for anything in the fridge when you're hungry. You go back to bed. Unless, of course, you have Delta Sleep in your fridge. And so put Delta Sleep in your fridge, and when you open the fridge at 2 in the morning, you see Delta Sleep, and you take 2 or 3 capsules, and you go back to bed. You really think you need in all these calories key lime pie at 2 a.m.? At 2 a.m., you either need sexy time or you need to be sleeping.
What I would love to find in my life is a balance where I kind of eat healthy and then don't have to work quite as hard.
I'm a famous movie star. Of course I say I can eat whatever I want. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I have better genetics than you. I'm a famous movie star. Of course I'm not going to tell you my actual cycle.
I don't spend a ton of time in the gym, 20, 30 minutes tops.
And so I'm training harder than last time, and look at my physique. Look at the muscles. Alan Richardson. I eat whatever I want. I'm on a bulk, and I train so hard, my body never recovers. Does anyone think he's only on HRT? He trains 20 to 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's a total of 100 to 150 minutes a week. That's not even the minimum 150 minutes a week that I'm recommending to all of my subscribers.
What's your favorite body part to train?
Definitely not the legs.
He's covered up, he's got pants on. Girls are only going to see the larger-than-life pecs and delts. They don't care about the legs, at least until the pants come off. But by that time, it's already too late. You've already pot committed. That's a poker reference for y'all.
But my favorite is the pectoralis major. It's actually a little tiny muscle. It's a little strip of muscle up here.
And so his favorite muscle train is the pectoralis major, which is this tiny muscle. Major is the main muscle. Major is more than minor. Pec minor is the smaller muscle. Pec major is the larger muscle.
But if you want to like have that beach body, you want to fill out your t-shirt, you got to get your arms above your head.
And so what he's actually saying is not actually true. Anytime you're training your chest, you're training the entirety of the chest. If you lay down and do a bench press, dumbbell, push-up, all this, you're training the pec major.
You know, putting on that much weight that fast isn't natural.
And so towards the end of the video, he says he had to put on 30 pounds of muscle very quickly. He says, you're not doing that natural and it's not healthy. And so at least he admits it. It's not healthy. It's not natural. 30 pounds in a month, that is not natural. And remember, he's not going to get into all the details exactly how he did this, but clearly it's not healthy. He had to take certain super supplements that we're not going to mention. And so one thing he likes to do is he does full body exercises 5 days a week, kind of like Coach Greg. But I don't know how you're training your entire body in 20 to 30 minutes. Personally, I'd rather see him train his entire body every other day, allow his body to rest, or perhaps split it up into 2 different days. Perhaps an upper body day and a lower body day, or a push day and a pull day. I don't think that training the exact same body parts 5 days in a row and taking the weekend off is optimal. I mean, of course, it's better than nothing by a long shot, but I'd much rather see a day off somewhere, ending it here. Subscribe, click the bell button, like the video if you liked it, add a comment to boost the algorithm, watch one of those 2 bloops, of course, cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line, all the supplements, code Greg, 15% off. Also, the free diet and training programs, you get it on the website. Join the over 300,000 newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.